The fire that survives the storm isn't the loudest. It's the one that knows silence is power. Ascenders. Welcome to Sigma Ascends. This isn't a motivational channel. This is your mental upgrade system. No sugarcoating, no hype, just raw operating principles for those who walk alone. Today, we're slicing open the psychology of why Sigma males never give up. Not because they want to prove something, but because giving up was never coded into their system. This is deeper than hustle. It's about design. And if you recognize yourself in what's coming, you're already part of the tribe. Smash that subscribe and let's rise different. 1. The silent contract. Every Sigma male operates under a personal oath. It's not loud, it's not posted on a wall, it's carved inside. It's what we call the silent contract. See, most people need accountability buddies, deadlines, or applause to stay motivated. Sigma males don't. Their accountability is internal. It's a pact between them and their higher self, a version they haven't become yet, but one they refuse to betray. This contract doesn't need witnesses. It was forged in solitude, maybe in a moment of pain, maybe after a failure that burned too deep. But once it's signed, it's unbreakable. When a Sigma gets knocked down, quitting doesn't cross their mind, not because they're too proud, but because it would mean violating that inner code. That's a deeper kind of shame than public embarrassment. It's not about others, it's about self-integrity. People talk a lot about self-discipline, but Sigmas don't need daily affirmations. They don't wait for motivation. The contract is always in play. They remember why they started, even when the world forgets they exist. This internal code covers everything: how they move, how they build, how they suffer. It's what keeps them getting up when no one sees them fall. To break the silent contract would be to kill a part of themselves, and that's a line they never cross. 2. Rejection is fuel, not fire. Most people get derailed by rejection. A closed door, a failed pitch, or someone walking away. It's enough to crush their drive. But Sigma males, they convert rejection into fuel. Let's be clear, it's not that they don't feel it. Rejection stings. But Sigmas process it differently. They don't internalize it as a reflection of their worth. They see it as feedback, data, a direction marker. Where others hear, "You're not good enough," Sigmas translate it as, "You're not for them," and that's intel. Every rejection gives them something to optimize, a path to reroute, or a strategy to rebuild. And more than that, rejection energizes them. It sharpens their focus. Why? Because it's proof that they're walking a path few understand. It confirms that they're not built for the mainstream. That's not discouragement, that's confirmation. Most people chase approval. Sigma males are built to move without it. The lack of validation doesn't slow them, it frees them. They thrive in obscurity because they know something most don't. Rejection is redirection. It's how nature tests the committed. You either fold or you forge. 3. No audience required. We live in a world obsessed with being seen. If it's not on social media, did it even happen? That's how most people operate, but Sigma males live by a different rule. Progress doesn't need an audience. They don't need claps. They don't need eyes on them. Their growth is internal, and that means they can grow in silence and succeed in silence. That's not just discipline, it's freedom, because when you stop needing others to witness your work, you remove the weight of performance. You start creating from purpose, not pressure. Think about how many people give up because they didn't get enough likes, comments, or external encouragement. That's not a problem for a Sigma. He's operating in stealth mode, often for years. While others announce every small win, the Sigma stores his progress like a hidden weapon. When the time comes to show results, people are shocked. But the Sigma isn't. He's been building in the dark, where distractions die and focus lives. This mindset creates resilience. No audience means no dependency, and no dependency means full control of the mission. 4. Emotional minimalism. Sigma males don't waste bandwidth on emotional chaos. That doesn't mean they're cold or robotic. It means they've trained their emotions, not the other way around. In a world addicted to drama, Sigma males are emotional minimalists. They don't explode. They don't spiral. When life hits, they pause, process, and proceed. Clean, controlled, calculated. This isn't repression, it's refinement. They understand that reacting emotionally to everything is how the world keeps you distracted. Sigmas refuse to be emotionally hijacked. They operate like emotional engineers. They ask, what's the signal? What's the noise? If it's noise, it's cut. If it's signal, it's analyzed. That's it. No overthinking, no oversharing. This mindset is why they never give up, because they don't drown in emotional fog when setbacks hit. While others spiral, they zoom out. While others vent, they recalibrate. Their emotions serve the mission, not sabotage it. And here's the twist. This emotional minimalism actually makes them more effective in relationships, business, and conflict. They don't carry emotional clutter into decision-making. Their judgment stays sharp, even under pressure. In a world that glorifies emotional reactions, Sigma males move like mental samurai, surgical, selective, and always in control of their emotional blade. 5. The anti-victim DNA. Victimhood is a virus, and Sigma males are immune, not because life spared them suffering, but because they refuse to identify with it. When things go wrong, most people look for someone to blame. Not the Sigma. He doesn't have time for the blame game. His question is always, what's my next move? That's the anti-victim DNA. It's not about toxic positivity or pretending everything's fine. It's about radical ownership. It's the ability to stare down adversity and say, this is mine to solve. Sigmas aren't emotionally dependent on fairness. They understand life's brutal. Systems are broken. People fail you. Cool. Now what? That mentality keeps them moving when others freeze. While others protest the difficulty, Sigmas optimize around it. They adapt, not complain. They rebuild, not resent. This mindset creates unshakable momentum. Giving up isn't even an option, not because they don't suffer, but because they don't waste energy on self-pity. The world owes them nothing, and they act like it. That kind of internal coding makes them unstoppable because every problem is seen as a puzzle, not a prison. 6. Strategic isolation. Most people fear being alone. Sigma males weaponize it. That's strategic isolation, the deliberate choice to step away from noise, distraction, and influence, and build from the inside out. See, isolation isn't the absence of connection. It's the presence of focus. When a Sigma retreats, he's not lost. He's in lab mode, restructuring, upgrading, mapping the next move. This time alone gives him clarity others never reach. When the crowd is confused by 10 voices, he's grounded by one, his own. Strategic isolation is where the Sigma downloads the mental blueprints for what's next. In this space, he reviews failure without shame, recalculates goals without peer pressure, and works without needing permission. People underestimate solitude because they've never mastered it, but to the Sigma, it's sacred. It's where pain is processed, where strength is stored, and where the real plan is born. Strategic isolation isn't about hiding, it's about preparing in silence to strike in strength. That's why he doesn't give up, because every setback sends him back into the lab, not the pity party. He isolates, not to disappear, but to return sharper, harder, and 10 steps ahead. 7. Time doesn't intimidate them. Most people quit because things take too long. The Sigma male? He's fine with it. Time doesn't scare him. It trains him. We live in a culture addicted to speed, fast money, instant likes, overnight success. But Sigmas don't buy that illusion. They understand one core truth. Anything real takes time, and most things worth building aren't supposed to be fast. While others get restless after a few weeks of effort, the Sigma is thinking in years, not days. That's not laziness. It's long-game thinking. He's not rushing to win now. He's building to win forever. This patience gives him a tactical edge. He's not reactive. He doesn't burn out. He paces himself like a general planning a war, not a soldier rushing into one. He's okay being underestimated. He's okay being the quiet one. He knows that patience isn't passive. It's precision over time. It's knowing when to wait, when to move, and when to strike. Because here's the thing, time only destroys the uncommitted. But for a Sigma male, time is the proving ground. Every hour that passes without reward just makes him more immune to the need for instant gratification. He keeps going because the clock isn't his enemy. It's his sharpening stone. 8. Inner war games. While most people are trying to beat others, Sigma males are battling something deeper, themselves. That's the real war, and they never stop playing. This inner war isn't about hating yourself. It's about refusing to settle for the lazy, distracted, weaker version of you. The Sigma mindset is always scanning for weakness, procrastination, excuses, fear, addiction to comfort. And every day is a chance to out-strategize the old self. They don't need rivals. The internal game is more than enough. Because unlike most people, Sigma males don't need external threats to push them. They push themselves. And this self-challenge doesn't burn them out. It fuels them. It gives meaning to the grind. Every habit they fix, every discipline they sharpen, every impulse they override, that's a win in the war room. They don't rely on external motivation because their biggest enemy lives inside. That's why they don't give up, because quitting means surrendering to an internal version of themselves they swore to outgrow. The world doesn't see the battle. There are no trophies. But that's the point. Sigma males don't fight for recognition. They fight to become someone unrecognizable to themselves. 9. Emotional armor, not walls. There's a big difference between shutting down and suiting up. Sigma males don't build emotional walls. They build emotional armor. See, emotional walls keep everyone out, including growth. But emotional armor? It lets you move through chaos without absorbing it. That's how Sigma males operate. They feel everything. They just don't let those feelings steer the wheel. They've trained themselves to feel without drowning. Anger becomes clarity, sadness becomes fuel, fear becomes focus. They alchemize emotion into energy. This control is what makes them resilient, because when the storm hits, and it always does, they don't collapse. They absorb the blow, assess the damage, and keep moving. Most people give up because they mistake emotion for instruction. They feel sad and stop. They feel doubt and retreat. But the Sigma knows that emotion isn't truth, it's a signal, and signals can be redirected. This kind of mastery takes time. It takes failure, it takes self-awareness, but it also creates a man who's incredibly hard to knock down, not because he doesn't feel, but because he knows what to do with what he feels. That's emotional armor, not cold, not numb, just trained. And it's why Sigma males keep rising when others fall. 10th, detachment from outcome. Most people fail not because they're weak, but because they're attached. They obsess over the results. They need things to happen now and perfectly. Sigma males? They're wired differently. They care about the mission, not the medal. This is called detachment from outcome, and it's one of the Sigma's most powerful traits. It doesn't mean they don't care. It means they aren't emotionally chained to winning. Their focus is on execution, on process, on discipline. If the result hits, good. If it doesn't, that's data, not defeat. This detachment makes them dangerous in the best way. While others panic if the result isn't guaranteed, Sigmas keep going. They're not chasing dopamine, they're building legacy. They understand something deeper. When your identity is tied to outcomes, failure becomes identity shattering. But when your identity is tied to effort, no outcome can break you. And here's the paradox. This detachment often brings the results. Because when you're not desperate, you're focused. When you're focused, you're effective. When you're effective, you win more often. It's a mindset that removes emotional friction, no overthinking, no anxiety about what if, just do, adjust, repeat. This is why Sigma males rarely give up, because they're not in love with winning, they're obsessed with movement. 11th, legacy over likes. The modern world runs on likes, shares, validation loops. It's a dopamine casino, but Sigma males aren't playing that game. They're not chasing likes. They're building legacy. Legacy isn't flashy, it's slow, it's heavy, it's often invisible for years. But that's exactly what makes it real. While others chase clout, the Sigma is laying bricks for a future that outlives him. He doesn't care if people notice today. He's thinking about impact, not impressions. He builds systems, solves problems, creates value, not just noise. This is why Sigma males never give up, because their goal is bigger than them. They're not fueled by validation, they're driven by contribution. A legacy mindset also means they play a different mental game. They delay gratification, they pass on shortcuts, they endure what others avoid, because they know temporary discomfort creates permanent structure. They can walk away from the hype, ignore the applause, take the L in public if it means a W in the long run, because while the crowd is thinking about trends, the Sigma is designing timelines. So when obstacles come, they don't stop, they zoom out. Because likes fade, but legacy echoes. 12. Resilience isn't a trait, it's a system. Most people think resilience is something you're born with, not Sigma males. They see it as something you build, like a system. Resilience to a Sigma is not about being tough or manly. It's about designing a mental structure that automatically adapts under stress. That structure includes key elements: self-awareness, knowing when you're slipping; emotional management, redirecting rather than reacting; tactical withdrawal, knowing when to pause and reset; core purpose, having a why that's stronger than the pain. These aren't random traits. They're engineered systems that Sigma males refine over time. Each failure becomes an update. Each setback is logged and processed. They're always optimizing. Think of them like emotional architects. They don't just tough it out. They build internal frameworks that hold up under pressure. This is why Sigma males keep going. Not because they feel like it, not because they're fearless, but because they've installed the right mental infrastructure. When the system is strong, you don't need to try harder. You just keep executing because the system is built for storms. To outsiders, it looks like toughness, but to the Sigma, it's just good engineering. Ascenders. You've now seen the blueprint. Sigma males don't keep pushing because they're invincible. They keep pushing because they've done the work, mentally, emotionally, structurally. They've deleted the option to quit from their operating system, not because they're better, because they're built different. So if you're still here, still watching, still locked in, you're not just a viewer, you're an ascender, one of us. Hit that subscribe button, fuel the rise, and keep sharpening the code. This isn't motivation. This is mental sovereignty. Until next time, stay quiet, stay focused, stay rising.